Alan Hale was the film menace, the most feared character actor in Hollywood. He was such a good actor that if he was with you in a scene, he could take it away from you, whether he was standing behind you, beside you, or in front of you. He was full of tricks. Other actors of, say, my stature hesitated to play with Hale because he was so good. Luckily for me, he liked me, so he never pulled any of his scene stealing with me. He could have stolen every scene, but he didn't. As a picture was being made, I'd say to him, "Alan, if you poke your nose behind me, I'll jump on your goddamn instep." He taught me a hell of a lot. For example, take the playing of a very intense scene. Now a man in such a scene who isn't vital to the success of the shot. All he has to do is twiddle his ring, look at it a bit, and the audience's attention is diverted. Alan would go so far as to turn his back and give you the impression he was yawning. That stole a scene easily. You can fix your belt in an interesting way, and the attention is diverted to you instead of throwing the scene where it rightly belongs. That is scene stealing. It's bad manners, and Alan, bless his heart, was an expert at it. I got him and S.Z. Cuddles Zackel together one night at Mulholland. Zackel was a funny old guy. I always liked him for his screwy, mushy personality, but most other actors hated him. He messed up the English language so much that they couldn't get their cues. I let him run on. It was fun to see the effect of him on the other character players. He ran off with many scenes, and that was enough to make him despised by the others. Hale couldn't stand him. They hated each other and refused to work with each other. To see them together was like a meeting of two prima donnas at a tea party. Naturally, I brought them together as often as I could, and on this night, Hale hollered, "For Christ's sake, Zackel, ain't it time you learned to speak English? You've been here long enough." And for why I should speak English better, when mut this English, I am making more, what is you? You can work in Hollywood for 18 or 20 years and not get to know many of its leading figures and not ever meet, more than casually, many of its celebrated stars. People are surprised to learn this. What, you don't know this one or that one? Often, I have had to disappoint people by telling them I have never met some notables. Hollywood studios have been putting out 500 or 600 pictures annually for a long time. These pictures have been filled with actors, directed by directors, written by writers, and Hollywood is packed with thousands of people. Only a few dozen reach stardom or international note. Often, these artists live in circles of their own. Each may have about him a number of aides, secretaries, hangers-on, servants, friends. They work. They have a job to do. It is steady going. They may all gather once a year for Academy Awards, and they may then be under one roof, but you don't know them. In my case, as soon as I finished a picture, I ran off to sea, to New York or South America, any place I hadn't been before. I didn't stay around for Hollywood parties. While you're working, you don't always have the time or the desire to get over the town and mingle with big shots because they're big shots. After you work, you feel like going home to dinner, perhaps do some reading, have a few friends in, then a bath, and then to bed. I tried to get to bed by midnight, for I had to be up at 6:30 in the morning, and generally made it by 2 a.m. Breakfast, then off to the studio for a day's work. The same round over and over, and it left little time to gad about, meeting this one and that one. But in the 6 or 7 years I had now been here, I did get to know more or less many of its top-flight characters. I came to know Charles Chaplin rather well. Charlie liked to play tennis. Me too. So occasionally I'd be at his house. The outstanding thing to me about him was that, while he was gay and witty and charming, Unless every bit of conversation centered around him, he was deadly bored. He used to have wonderful parties because he attracted the artistic crowds, the most interesting artists and painters. I've seen him go through his steps in the front line of the ballet that he invited to his house. I was a little better acquainted with his wife of the time, Paulette Goddard. In that period, before World War II, I did make the acquaintance of many whom, in one connection or another, I've continued to know up to this day. I can never understand why Sam Goldwyn, whenever he sees me, points at me and bursts into squalls of laughter. I say, "Hello, Mr. Goldwyn." That makes him slap his leg hard, and he repeats, "Mr. Goldwyn, ha! Errol Flynn." In Rome, in Sicily, at his famous parties, wherever I have met him, this has happened. I have never been able to figure it out. He spots me 40 feet across the room, and as soon as he does, this Goldwyn laugh comes out. Not with anyone else, mind you, only with me. With others, he growls. It gave me a complex. What's so funny about me? It's enough to make a man lie awake at night, wondering. One time at Sam's house, I decided I would find out what was so comical about me in his mind. So I sat down beside him and began. "You know, Mr. Goldwyn," I only got that far. Again, tides of laughter. I waited till the latest subsided. "Mr. Goldwyn," I ventured, "there's one thing I've been curious about for a long time. Why is it, whenever you see me, I seem to be some figure of fun?" This rolled him in the aisle. It was the funniest thing to him, aggravating to me. I said, "Listen, Sam." His laughing began again. I talked louder. "Mr. Goldwyn, Sam, you always seem to find me so funny. If so, why don't you—" He was trying to listen, his mouth half open, still gargling on the latest laugh. "Why don't you find a comedy for me that you could make?" This was the biggest of the lot. He didn't stop laughing. His belly seemed to be hurting. I pondered, what's so mirthful about me? Because of my desire for fun, gaiety, entertainment, because I am understood to have a sort of humor myself, I sought out, if I sought any particular type, the comedians. I liked to play comedy in the films from time to time. But speaking professionally, I hate comics. I loathe them. I hate their guts. It's no trouble for me to call them to their faces parasitic bastards, and I always will. That doesn't go for you, Durante. Because these comics have, in good part, been living off me for a long time. Flynn jokes, mention my name, it seems to get a laugh out of a portion of the audience, like the old vaudeville actors who, to make sure they got applause from their audience, trotted out the American flag.